Delegate number 2, Joanne Penhale from R.H. McGregor.
Hi. I wanted to thank trustees first for being a trustee and also for hearing my delegation. Also, thanks to staff who have fine-tooth combed the budget looking for any potential waste. I'm a parent of 2 kids at R.H. McGregor Elementary. I'm a Bachelor of Education candidate at York University. I'm an active member of my kids' school council, and I'm here with strong support from that school council as I speak to concerns about more than 2.5 decades of various privatization trends, diminishing our once robust public education system. And I also have their support of my request for you to pass a deficit budget. Yesterday, I gathered at a conference in Montreal with public education researchers and advocates as part of the federally funded Public Education Exchange. We heard story after story about neoliberal policy changes that are eroding our public education systems throughout Canada. And the work we are doing to collectively resist these market-driven trends in favor of education systems that benefit all children and their families, regardless of personal circumstances. At the conference, we first each centered ourselves in terms of our own ancestral lineage or our origin story. And then we considered the concerns closest to us. For many, this was our family, including our children. And I was reminded of a current TDSB trustee who attended a local event I organized in May. It was about provincial underfunding, how it creates private sector demands like school fundraising, private tutoring, out-of-pocket assessments, and so forth, driven primarily by families who can afford those things. And that trustee said at this meeting, "I am a trustee, but I am a parent first." And I invite everyone listening to center yourself in the position of parent or caregiver or family member, and then consider the broader community and land we all have in common. And I invite you to consider my delegation in that light. At the conference yesterday, we shared collective concerns about how both public schools and public school families are internalizing market logic, whereby parents with the means use the public system to seek out the best possible outcomes for their own children rather than for all children. I reflected on so many bright, wide-eyed kindergarteners who start school enthusiastically, so trusting and open, but so many of whom lose trust in adults at school over time and shut down to protect themselves. At the conference, one Toronto-based professor talked about how some TDSB schools in affluent areas offer a plethora of opportunities in a gorgeous setting, financed through fundraising, while other schools in the TDSB feel more like prisons than anywhere we'd want our children to spend 5 days per week, several hours per day. Well, yes, you could continue to chip away incrementally to balance the budget, a little outdoor ed here, some fees here and there, shut down pools. Instead, you could refuse. I understand that in some jurisdictions in Canada, school boards have been eviscerated, leaving no space for parents to democratically influence public education. I understand you don't want that to happen here. But I also attended one of your budget town halls, and I felt betrayed that it was premised on the notion that you simply had to pass a balanced budget. You do not. And as you know, a previous iteration of the TDSB in 2002 stood up to the government to say, "We will not sacrifice our children for your profit-driven neoliberal agenda." This whole system exists for the good of every child and for the benefit of our society as a collective over time. If we can't ensure that through you, then I'm not sure what you are here for. If I may speak abstractly, I strongly believe that your choice on this budget is a choice between supporting children or supporting the interests of capital. Make a stand. Please be empowered to pass a no-cuts budget. Demand the province funds every penny of a robust and caring education system where every child, regardless of circumstance, can thrive. This is about political will in a wealthy province. We need your leadership, not your compliance under the thumb of the powers that be at the Ministry of Education. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Trustees, questions of clarification for Joanne? Trustee McLean, go ahead.
Thank you, and through the chair. You quoted in your delegate, and thank you for your delegation. You quoted the earlier time, I think in 2002, when the board indicated they wouldn't pass a balanced budget and took a stand. Can you share your understanding of how much money the government then provided the board? So how well that strategy worked exactly?
Yeah, I had a little email exchange with the economist Hugh McKenzie about this, and I also attended a panel discussion that looked into this a lot more thoroughly. I recommend that you look at both of Hugh McKenzie's work and that, but from what I understand, the supervisor that came, I mean, it was complicated and it unfolded over many months, but I understand that overall it served the public education system better. I think that there were some initial cuts, but that the government fell, a Liberal government was elected, and that public education did receive more funding overall, and that the trustees who stood up to the province gained politically. They basically got social credit, like Kathleen Wynne, for example, went on to a political career, I think, boosted by that move. But I am no expert on this. I'm from British Columbia by way of Quebec, and I was lucky enough to grow up experiencing an education system where I felt held and valued. And that's what I want for my children and for all children.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Trustee McLean. Any other trustees online? Thank you, Joanne, for your delegation. You have